そしてそれはシャノンだってよく知ってるはず。なのになぜ彼女はこの順風満帆な婚約を受けたこの夜になおも魔法の奇跡を祈るの？
魔法の奇跡を得なければ結ばれる資格もないというのが家具たちの主張であるな。
Also, let's not forget about the whole thing about George even going so far to kill his parents, his family, in order to marry Shannon, which...
つまりこういうこと。シャノンはジョージの婚約を受けているけど、魔法の奇跡がなければ成就されない障害が残っていると知っていることになる。
I mean, again, at face value, you could think that this miracle that they're thinking of would be somebody stopping the ritual and also stopping the bomb that I've been talking about for a while now. I mean, at face value, if you can manage to solve the epitaph and you manage to stop the bomb, then, well, the wedding will still happen. Ring the bells and such. Like, that will be one thing. Which...
そしてその障害は2人の努力では取り除けないとも。だから魔法という奇跡が必要。どうして魔法がいるの？愛し合う2人に結ばれるための他にどんな奇跡が必要だっていうの？
ふむ、なるほど。
Federin listened to Angie's interpretation, smiling in a satisfied way. Apparently, she had already reached that conclusion and was enjoying watching Angie finally manage to do the same.
そしてその疑問はカノンにも向けられるわ。ジェシカお姉ちゃんとの恋路は始まったばかりだけど、2人の気持ちはまっすぐ。何の障害もないわ。黄金蝶のブローチの力なんか関係なく、もう恋仲に慣れてる。何年もの交際を経て、やがては結婚に行き着いても何もおかしくない。こっちも障害は何も存在しないのよ。
クラウスと夏日に結婚を認めさせようと思わない限り、こちらもまた魔法の奇跡は必要なさそうであるな。
そういうこと。
Unless the approval itself is very important. Like before, I've been thinking about the approval as something a little bit trivial in that sense. But it all comes down to love in the end. I mean, you love your parents, so you definitely want your approval from them as well. I mean, if you didn't care about your parents like at all, then you won't be even thinking about the approval in the first place. You are basically asking the approval of people that have loved you and have taken good care of you in the first place. Like, I'm having a bad time describing it. But on the flip side, from the adults' perspective, if they give the approval to Shannon and Kanon, then that means that they have love. They wouldn't think so disgustingly about Shannon and Kanon. They would accept it wholeheartedly. They would have love in that situation, and they approve it. So, maybe the magical miracle in this context will be for everyone to have love and to be together in these situations, instead of creating more chaos and conflict about the whole my daughter and my son being married to a lowly servant and such. Like, that will be chaotic, and there will be the opposite of the magic miracle, where everybody would be completely accepting of this, like wholeheartedly, and accept and cherish their kids' love for Shannon and Kanon. Maybe that's another way of interpreting it.
シャノンの生き方を見て、カノンもまた生き方を変えた。 そして素直な気持ちを伝え、ジェシカお姉ちゃんと2人で恋路を歩み始めた。必要ないのよ、もはや魔法は。
In which case, you know, I do remember when I talked about this like last time in regards to Shannon and George, like at the end of episode 4, about Shannon not being sure if the relationship between them will go well. Maybe this is another example, since George doesn't really have love for his parents to ask for their approval and fight for that approval, and instead George is going completely against his family. That means that there isn't as much love in George as Shannon would have wanted out of him. So that kind of makes that would make Shannon a little bit skeptical about this.
片思いの相手になら恋のおまじないも必要かもしれない。
And it would be a miracle in the sense that it will be really, really difficult at this point to make Eva understand this and accept this. It is a difficult obstacle in the first place.
でももはや両者は相思相愛、意思も疎通できてる。なのにどうしてその上魔法の奇跡が必要なの？
Both pieces of furniture are relationships of mutual love. There shouldn't be any need for a miracle any longer. So why do they still desire a miracle of magic? And on top of that, the Song of Brooch is portrayed as bestowing only a single miracle. It feels almost as though Shannon is hesitating because if she uses up that miracle for herself, Kanon's chances at love will be automatically sealed away for eternity.
つまりこういうことよ。どうして家具は恋をしてはいけないの？
魔法という奇跡なくしてはなぜ恋が許されぬことになっているのかが。
そして堅くなに恋ができないと嘆いていた家具たちにそれを許すことのできる黄金蝶のブローチって一体何だっていうの？
もちろん魔法の結晶であるぞ。ただし多くの魔法と同様に半魔法の毒素で焼かれもする。
つまり魔女や魔法を信じる者にしか効果がないということなんですね。
その通りだ。よってわらわと交流することができたシャノンにはその効果を発揮した。しかしもしシャノンがそのブローチを砂浜に落とし何も知らぬ者が拾ったとしたら、
その者が半魔法の毒をまとっていたらブローチの魔法は力を発揮できない。
そういうことだ。魔女のアイテムは直接の手渡しでなければ力を失うことが多いということだ。しかし魔女の存在を大勢の人間が認めることで半魔法の毒素がなくなり権限することができるのと同じに、大勢の人間がそのアイテムの魔力を信じれば逆に魔力を維持することもある。
皮肉な話ですね。私たち魔女がどんな魔法を授けてもそれを受け取れるかどうかは全て人間次第なんですね。
薬もそうだと聞いているぞ。同じ薬を飲んでもその効果を知らされている人間にはより大きい効果が出るという。
ちょっとわかります。風邪薬とか飲んだ時薬効の解説書とか読んでると薬の効きがいいような気がしますよね。
As she listened, Dato thought that magic sounded a bit like a charm. When most humans think of magic, They think of incredible miracles being performed one after another in front of a crowd. However, this true magic that the older sister spoke of sounded almost like a charm. Something that had no effect if the person using it didn't believe. Shannon's heart was captured by George bit by bit, as he grew by leaps and bounds. However, she had given up, thinking that one of lower status such as herself would never find love with him. That was when Beatrice had given her the golden butterfly brooch and encouraged her. Giving up means they have zero chance of success. But if, with the power of magic, you think there's just might be some chance of a wish coming true, the probability then rises to something greater than zero at the very least. Yeah. I guess part of the power of magic does also come from your mind. From the mind itself. Zero remains zero forever. But even if a faint probability were to exist, it would be no exaggeration to say that an impossible miracle had occurred, compared to the time when the probability was zero. Humans can use magic to take resignation, by which they themselves make the probability of success zero, and cancel it out. When a human does not give up, though their chances of success may be small, those chances do exist, and the stronger their belief, the more those odds rise. I mean, it is similar to what we had at the end of episode 3 with Angie and Ben Castell. Ben Castell did say that the probability of saving his family would be like really small, but Angie's like, well, it's not zero. There is still a chance. I feel like that's what Jim Carrey would say. So there is still a chance. And made many little efforts to get George to like her.
信じる力が魔法になる。
そしてそれを信じさせるものが魔女だ。
And those who make others believe are witches. And that's an interesting way to put it. If you think about it, it's true. Let's say a witch steps out into a spotlight, waves her staff in front of a crowd of onlookers, and makes a rabbit appear out of thin air. The many people who see it will surely think that it was a sleight of hand. And they might wonder at how it was accomplished, but they will be sure that it wasn't magic. And they would applaud the splendid trick that had appeared to be magic. But what if they conducted a sacred ceremony inside a great ancient temple in front of a crowd of believers, culminating in the exact same thing? Wouldn't any of the people there think that was a sleight of hand? Would any of the people there think that was a sleight of hand? In fact, in the ancient past, when magic tricks as a form of entertainment didn't even exist, divine spirits were worshipped. And this would doubtlessly have been a miracle of magic.
ならこれは魔法になるでしょうか。
ほう。魔法の使いの魔女のそなたが初めて振るう魔法とはどんなものか。
ここに空の紅茶のカップがあります。
Empty teacup.
中身は空です。
うん、空っぽであるぞ。それから、
これをこうしてテーブルの上に伏せておきます。
それからそれから、
一緒に目を閉じて魔法の呪文を唱えます。
Okay. It was the same magic that had been used to give Maria candies. Beto the Elder grinned and closed her eyes. When she saw this, Beto slowly chanted the incantation.
さあさあ思い出してごらんなさい。カップの中に何が入っていたのか。
うん。さあさあ思い出してごらんなさい。
Come, try to remember.
カップの中に何が入っていたのか。
What was inside the cup? As she chanted, Beto slowly opened her eyes and made sure that the older sister was repeating her with her eyes closed. Again, I'm closing and opening my eyes right here. Just read this. Then a single gold butterfly appeared out of nowhere, fluttered down onto the overturned cup, and scattered away in a spray of gold.
もうよいか、目を開けても。
はい、目を開けてカップの中身を改めてください。
さてさて、そなたが初めて使う魔法はいかほどのものか。
Taking her time and dragging out the suspense a little, the other sister lifted up the cup.
おや、
いかがでしょうか。
When the cup was lifted up, there lay a silver golden rose petal.
これは魔法になるでしょうか。
うん、なるとも。そなたが魔法にて伏せたカップの中に黄金の花びらを生み出した。見事な魔法であったぞ。
愛がなければ見えない。それは理解できてるの。
これを手品だと断じるもよし、魔法だと信じるもよし、そのものの毒素次第であろうな。
でもこれはかつての魔法の一部を説明はできるけど、全てを説明することはできないわ。話を戻すけれど、この程度の魔法やおまじないを信じるという程度の話では、頑なに恋ができないと嘆いていた家具たちにそれを許すことのできる黄金蝶のブローチとは一体何かという問いに答えられない。
そこにいる2人のベアとの話を鵜呑みにするなら、魔法には彼らの諦めを取り除く力があると考えるのが妥当であろう。
どうして家具は恋をしてはいけないの？どうして魔法のブローチの力が必要なの？確かにあんたやベアトたちの話は一見、それにおぼろげとはいえ答えを与えているような気がする。でも朗読者だから言わせて、それでは納得がいかないの。
納得とは？
家具たちはもっともっと悲壮な宿命に抗おうとしているわ。恋愛成就のお守りを託されたくらいで自己改革ができる程度のものだったとは思えないの。現にシャノンはかつてジョージお兄ちゃんとの出会いのきっかけを作ったのはブローチのおかげだけど、それ以降は魔法の力を借りずに関係を深めたいと言ってベアトにブローチを返そうとさえしたわ。彼女はその時点で一度は魔法の奇跡と決別したはず。 なのになぜ再びその力を必要としているの？
さて、恋と結婚は別物としか言いようがないであろうな。
Federin laughed lightly. She had probably formed a theory of her own and was laughing at Angie, who hadn't reached it yet.
聞かせてよ。あんたの見解。
もう少し寝かせたい。それに疑問を持ち思考を巡らすそなたを見ることもまた朗読の楽しみだ。私の見解を話せばそなたはそれに納得し思考を止める。それでは朗読が面白くない。
すでに答えを知ってる推理小説を読ませて右往左往するところを見て楽しんでるってわけね。
それが感激の魔女というものだ。悪趣味と笑いたくば笑うがよい。我が巫女よ。
わははは。
わははは。I understand that a part of magic is created by a believing heart, and that magic probably permeates deep into the world of us humans as well. However, though it does permeate so far, the power that dwells within magic is small. Visiting a shrine before an important exam to pray that you'll pass is something that many people do. However, not many people actually credit that visit as the reason for their success. Well, I guess, like I do remember one talk before about how you pray for a witch and you gain the power from the witch to do something, but afterwards you don't credit the witch anymore. I know that Beatrice talked about this at some point. Praying like this contains no power except as a calming influence. In love, where even a small chance, a little bit of courage can cause a major change, and this power might cause a massive upheaval. However, would the insurmountable fate that those pieces of furniture claim to be in the middle of really change because of something like that? I think that in the past, the magical power of the Brooch as it joined Shannon and George was a little more than a good luck charm. However, at this point, the magical power that the pieces of furniture are seeking from the Brooch, praying for their love to succeed, it's not something as vague as a charm. It feels much stronger, like a whole different interpretation of magic. If you believe in a sleight of hand, it becomes magic. But that's no more than a child's trick. And that only explains one part of magic. They are hoping for something. They're hoping for something with much, much more power. For true magic, not a sleight of hand.
家具たちは黄金蝶のブローチにどんな魔法を期待しているというの？
黄金蝶のブローチ？黄金の魔女ベアトリーチが霊境を割るのと引き換えにシャノンに与えた恋を成就させる魔法のお守り。これがそれです。
From his pocket, Kanon pulled the wing of a gold butterfly. Though it was just a single wing, it was easy to tell from its distinctive shape that it had originally been part of something with a butterfly motif.
このブローチの魔法はシャノンにジョージ様と恋仲になる機会を与えました。しかし それを最後まで成就する前に僕に譲りました。だから僕はこのブローチの力でお嬢様の好意を得ました。
そんなわけないよ。私がカノン君を好きになったのは自分の素直な気持ちだぜ。
ありがとうございます。お嬢様は人間だから魔女も魔法も信じない。無理もないことです。しかし魔法で生み出された家具の僕がここに存在すること自体が魔法の奇跡の存在する証拠なのです。
ごめん。何の話？
Jessica tried her hardest to grasp what Kano was trying to say. However, she couldn't understand it, and had to ask him to repeat it with a bitter smile.
僕もシャノンも恋を成就させるには魔法が必要なのです。そのための鍵がこのブローチ。僕が踏んで割ったので僕たちは一つずつ持ち合っています。
Brooch had lost its power when it was split in half. However, if it was ever joined together again, its magic would be revived. Okay. Again, if I'm to think of this at face value a little bit over here, I guess this means that without the Brooch being complete, the magic that is necessary for the love to succeed would not be enough. The fact that both Shannon and Kanon have their respective parts of the Brooch, that means that their story will not end in a good way. Thus, I guess that's one way of looking at the rivalry that started like earlier between Shannon and Kanon. That one of them has to win. Because the only one who can win will be to have the full Brooch, meaning that the other person has to lose. I guess to give the other half of the Brooch to win. Again, at face value, like I'm thinking here. But like even then it makes me question this. Like Shannon was the one who gave Kanon like half of that. Did she not expect that without that full Brooch she would not be able to succeed with George? Why would you even give him the other part of the Brooch? Well, I guess to give Kanon a chance in his own love. Because, well, Shannon does love Kanon as well. She would want to give Kanon the chance for it to happen. And I guess there's also part of the risk factor here as well that has been mentioned like for a while. Because if Shannon had the entire Brooch from the start and she would not give Kanon like half of that Brooch to Kanon, then there would be no risk and Shannon would succeed a lot better in fulfilling that love and fulfilling the relationship with George. But now giving Kanon that Brooch and going further with this rivalry going on between them, for Shannon to succeed in her relationship with George, there's also the risk factor that Kanon may actually win before Shannon. So there is also a risk factor in that as well. That will apparently make magic more powerful, nor for love to happen between her and George. So I guess so. Maybe there is a risk factor going on over here that would make the magic even more powerful if Shannon succeeds in this by giving Kanon the other half of the Brooch. Thus, the power needed for the relationship to work would be even better. It is something. I feel like this part is gonna be very, very important for me to think about forward. Like, it offered some stuff that my brain is not processing yet, but that's the magic word there. Yet. It would revive their miraculous power that could join furniture and a human together.
しかし一つのブローチは一人の願いしか叶えない。家具の僕たちはこの一つのブローチによってどちらかしか結ばれ得ないのです。
It was the single spark of love that the old Beatrice with her shrill laugh had sown on a day a long time ago. That Beatrice had likened humans who were tormented by this spark to ripe fruit and take an evil pleasure in their suffering. However, the magic infused within this spark was real. It was the only crystallization of magic that the golden witch Beatrice ever left in this world. Its shine grew brighter.
何？大丈夫です。でも直接は見ないで。目をやられます。
It grew more brilliant still, shining like the sun. Jessica didn't need Kanu to tell her to put her hands over her eyes. As the light grew stronger, sound like the roaring of the wind or the tide also grew in intensity. It already drowned out the sound of the wind and rain outside. Jessica could no longer even stand, and she crouched on the floor. It was a flood of sound and light. And until it withdrew, Jessica could do nothing but moan.
Sa, 今は大丈夫ですよ。急ぎましょう。
No.
お父様が甘いものをお好きだといいのですが。
お好きですもの。甘いものに限らず、何でもよくお召し上がりになりますよ。
Oh. Did Beto actually make like food for Balor? After waiting for the master of the study to be out, Beto and Kumasawa entered the study. Then, they quickly tidied away the books on the desk, set down the basket they had brought there, and began spreading out the contents. Inside were several cute cookies cut out in a butterfly shape. They set out a cute plate and neatly decorated with the cookies. It was the kind of slight adornment that the person eating wasn't likely to even notice. The whole setup was filled with that sort of feeling.
愛しのお父様とやらのために精が出るな。
今の私に許されていることはこんなことくらいですので。
わらわがバトラにクッキーをか。なぜに夜の支配者であるわらわが稀な客人であるバトラにそこまで尽くすのかわからぬ。
Then, the study door swung violently open. It was Balor, with Genji by his side. Balor's eyes went wide for a second when he saw a battle there, but his expression quickly went blank again.
ここで何をしている？
お父様、失礼しました。決して大切なゲームの邪魔に来たわけでは。
どうしてここに入れた？ここには鍵がかかっていたはず。
申し訳ございません。親方様に内密で差し入れをお届けしたいとのことで、私が鍵をお貸ししました。
ほら、見てあげてくださいませ。親方様に喜んでもらおうと、ベアトリーチェ様が一生懸命クッキーを焼いたんですよ。
熊沢さんと源氏さんに習いました。源氏さんがクッキーを焼くのがお上手だったなんて、とても驚きました。
最近は全然ですけど、昔の源氏さんはそれはもういろいろなお料理を作ってくれたんですよ。
Oh, I bet. I bet that they are quite magical. If Genji were to make a stand of cookies and such, the witches would be in line to get them.
特にお菓子作りはお上手で。
クッキー？
はい、お父様への差し入れです。大切なゲームの必勝を心よりお祈りいたしております。
Bella looked at the plate on the study desk that was piled up with beautiful cookies, and the message card of encouragement lying next to it. And his face twisted with a complex expression, which might have had traces of both sadness and anger contained within it.
親方様。
In not so many words, Genji prompted him to consider giving Bato's efforts some kind of acknowledgement. Beller understood. He had no reason to respond to this kindness with displeasure. However, even though he understood that logically, all he could do was give a small, exasperated sigh.
ありがとう。感謝する。だが甘いものは苦手だ。下げてくれ。
親方様。
同じことをもう一度言わせるな。片付けて下がってくれ。
Yeah, whatever. Parallelism, I guess.
親方様、せめて一口お口に運ばれるわけには参りませんか。ベアトリーチェ様が親方様のためを思いこしらえたものでございます。
気持ちはありがたく受け取っておく。今は大切なゲームの最中だ。俺にとってもベアトにとっても大切な最後のゲームなんだ。だから頼む。俺の心をかき乱すような真似は慎し。
それはあまりにもひどうございます。気持ちは感謝する。大いに結構でございます。しかしそれをせめて一口お召しになる形ではお示しできませんか。
お父様。
Bato looked at Beller sadly. Beller hung his head to avoid her gaze. The expression on his face was more pain than any he had shown Bato before.
熊沢、それを片付け下がるよ
うに。親方様。
Kumasawa implored Bella to listen, but he turned his back to her.
失礼しました。片付けましょう、熊沢さん。
そういうわけには参りません。大切なゲームに少しでも力添えしたいベアトリーチェ様がせめてこのような形でもお力になりたいと頑張られた差し入れでございます。それを一口さえせずに下げろとは女をバカにするにも程がございます。
熊沢。
親方様も男ならば女の手作りの差し入れにせめてどうか一口で結構でございますのでお手をつけてくださいまし。女の気持ちを踏みにじろうというおつもりでしたらこの熊沢殺されたってここは引きませんよ。引きません。
Jesus.
熊沢さん、もう結構ですから。
そういうわけには参りません。親方様、これに毒でも入っているとお思いですか？
Yeah. If whoever came to give me cookies. Of course I think that she put some kind of crazy poison in them. She asked me if I thought there'd be poison in these. How could any of her think that cookies like these, piled up in such a neat and cute way, could possibly have something bizarre hidden inside? And who could possibly believe that Bato would make something like this? Because of that, Bella couldn't bear to look at Bato's innocent reaction, which was completely free from any malicious thoughts of slipping poison into the cookies. Bato quietly started to clean up. Every now and then, she sniffled. Kumasawa had been glaring at Bato continuously, but she now gave a small sigh and helped Bato clean up. However, the hardness didn't disappear from her expression.
失礼しました、お父様。それでは失礼いたします。
呼ぶな。俺をお父様と呼ぶな。ベアとは俺をそんな呼び方をしたことは。
はい。失礼いたしました。
Hanging her head so low that her chin touched her chest, Bato hurried out of the study. After giving Bato a look, Kumasawa chased after her. She shut the door a bit violently, and the footsteps of the pair rapidly disappeared off into the distance. Well, I guess so. That was surely quite a scene there, Bella. Indeed. I could be angry at what just transpired here, but I choose not to. Again, either grand plan or you're going down a different pathway here. I guess we shall see what your fate is going to be in this.
「実の妹が言うのもなんだけど複雑な気持ちだわ。
相手がベアトでさえなければ素直に女の敵と言えるのにか？
私はお兄ちゃんとベアトがどうして慣れ合ってるのかさっぱりわからない。今思ってベアトは倒すべき私たちの最大の敵だと思ってる。でもだからといってあのお兄ちゃんの対応は女として愉快じゃないわ。
Alright. I mean, one could say that this entire shift in personality coming from Balor, it all comes from him learning the truth, like at the end of the last game and such. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But this is such a drastic change that it really makes you question what he learned. And not just what he learned, but, you know, realistically speaking, people don't change, like, at the blink of an eye, like, over a night. Like, literally, as Battler did. Which, again, makes me question the importance of time in this entire story. Which, at this point in time, I don't see it as that important. Because the way it seems right over here, like, realistically speaking, it's almost as if a lot of time has passed since the end of Game 5 and up until this point. Otherwise, it's almost as if it's amnesia, which is not something that I really want to happen, but you know, there are those situations where a person has his personality, and something happened in the past, but they didn't remember because they have amnesia. But once they remember that, once they get over that amnesia, suddenly their personality just changes and such. Either it's that, which is not something that I really like, or... Actually, let me just write this down a little bit. Just gonna write this right over here. 1, amnesia. 2, a lot of time passed between events. 3, acting for the sake of the game, for a grand plan or something like that. Because if it's not one of these 3 options over here, like, it wouldn't make sense for Battler to act the way he does. Or at the very least, you would see like a transition between the way Battler was before and the way Battler is right now. Like, come on, Battler is not like that. He would accept cookies. He would do like smarky comments in regards to how a woman gives him cookies and such. Like how Bato herself is giving him cookies, and he will have like a comment about that in a jokey way or something like that. It is questionable.
バトラの気持ちも少しはわかるがな。悲しいことだ。
I still don't understand what kind of bad blood or connection there was between them. However, Oni-chan probably views Bato as a friendly adversary, if not something more. And again, when it comes to the transitioning type thing over here, you would expect Battler, in a realistic sense, to see him get used to the truth that he just learned. But no. Over the span of, what, couple of parts, you see him transitioning to a state where you kind of feel like he knows the truth, and he acts accordingly to the truth, as if he had learned that truth for a very long time. So, Oni-chan's reason for defeating Bato isn't to destroy an enemy out of hatred. He feels like he wants to give a sincere answer to our questions. Yes. I cannot deny the fact that their fight isn't based on hatred, but on a stronger emotion.
さらに言えば、あそこまで冷たくされて、それでもなおお兄ちゃんに尽くそうとするベアトも大したもんだわ。
Then again, as a quote-unquote baby that was born like a couple of days ago, I guess you could say that this Bato doesn't know any better. Then again, it makes you question where she came up with the mentality of doing this for the sake of her father. It's not something that you would know from the get-go, but rather it would be something that you would learn through time. I guess this is one of those examples where this baby Bato represents more of a concept than normal human behavior over here. A normal human would not just be born with this concept of, oh, I have to do my own thing for my master, as if she's a robot or something. She represents something, so again, maybe it is one of those situations where you have to think of it like that. I don't want to think of baby Bato as a robot, goddammit. Like, I feel for her. Like, it's one thing to think of something as a concept and, you know, not get emotionally involved in that kind of aspect. Like, if she represents a concept, fine. If Lambda Delta represents certainty, fine, whatever. But they're still characters, goddammit.